is which one?
This is the Women in Anime.
Oh, Women in Anime panel.
Yes.
Well, we're women and we're in anime. Basically, I guess it's like a Q&A. We can talk about experiences in anime that we've had so far. If you want.
This is definitely one of those subjects where I know it's early, but it's okay to ask questions regarding females because female characters in anime get a lot more, you know what kind of roles we get. The fan service, we have a lot of the stuff where you have the cookie cutter guy and the girls are the ones that have all the strange personalities and what it's like just being a female in an industry that surprisingly has a lot of female openings, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because some characters in shows you can be like, oh, this is a copy paste, there we go, of basically another show, and we don't really complain, do we? I mean, no, it's work.
Nope. There is no complaints ever. I got cast, yay.
Yay, work. If you have any questions?
First of all, nice Dean Ambrose hoodie right there.
He's my boy, and I'm wearing Loki underneath, so I'm wearing my husbandos today.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Natalie, have you thought of your husbando yet?
No, I haven't yet.
You had a day, I mean.
Another day.
Yeah.
I have too many husbandos. I have like a harem.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll kick it off. Like, what was your reaction when you first, like, had to deal with, I guess, the sexualization of female characters when you started, and how you react to it now?
It depends for me because there are shows where it's for comedic effect,
yeah.
And usually I'm okay with that. But there are shows in the industry, unfortunately, that clearly degrade women and or make them like the source of a joke, and I don't really like that. It's hard for me to like a show if it doesn't take a woman seriously, because I am a woman. It's like I'm not gonna want to be in the show otherwise. But
I'm just doing it.
That's usually with mine. Especially I don't like it if they sexualize children. I know there's a law in Japan now where I think it is illegal for the child to be, or the character to be under 16, and for them to draw inappropriate images of them. Like, I think the most they can do is an innocent panty shot, and still I'm like, that is a child. What is that? So I think one day maybe I'll get over it, but it's still something I'm trying to understand.
It's a new law, I think, right?
Yeah. So on the flip side, in that category,
You play a lot of lollies.
I play a lot of those little girls, and I play a lot of those little girls who get sexualized. First one, Shiro is not as bad as others. Shiro just kind of she has the brother complex, so that's definitely one of those situations where it's like, okay, thanks Japan. But Shiro's introduction into No Game No Life, as much as I love the show, is showing her shooting pods. It's the blue striped panties right there, and you're like, oh, hey Shiro, nice to meet you.
Literally.
Then, Fate Collide. Season 1's actually pretty innocent. Season 2 gets a little on the racy side with the little lolly Yuri. I have to think of lollies as aliens, just so I don't like that's the only way I think. Well, most of those girls are not thinking, they're not written to sound like actual 11-year-olds. They're written to sound like 16, 17-year-olds, but their bodies, yes, and they are drawn younger, so that's kind of just how I separate it for myself. Like, this girl is talking, she is not talking like an 11-year-old. This is not an 11-year-old in my mind, and that's just how I have to approach it, because if you think about the actual logistics of that, you're like, no, but to be fair, also Japan draws even 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds way younger than they actually are. That's actually one of the biggest complaints is you'll always look on the internet, and every time when I say I killed your lolly waifu, which is my kind of what I say. It's because everybody on the internet's like, she sounds too old. And I'm like, okay. Why? They're like, because 11-year-olds sound young. And I'm like, I worked at a preschool. Sometimes my voice was higher pitched than some of those preschoolers. 11-year-olds are actually little preteen shites. And they're starting to go through puberty. Their voice is cracking. They're doing all sorts of things. They are not sitting there like, oh, big brother. They're not. That is not their voice. That is not 11-year-olds. They are not sitting there being like, I think my favorite comparison is Sherry Birkin in Resident Evil. She is written to be 11 years old in like the story. But she's sitting there like hiding behind Claire's leg. She's acting like someone who is a 6-year-old. Mm-hmm. Japan does not know how to write that age category well at all. Like,
they just assume, they're like, oh, we're this one, so it's going to be the same for all of them.
Yeah, because Sherry is completely written like a 6 to 8-year-old who's super shy when she's supposed to be like 11, 13. And even her model reflects that. And like, Shiro is 11, and yeah, she's super tiny body. Puberty for girls starts happening at age 10 now, so we kind of have, Japan kind of has a really weird age thing at the moment, and I think that's just something that thematically they've had for a while, but again, I deal with it by pretty much isolating and saying these girls are not this age, because this is why in my brain, and that's how I deal with it, because honestly, those are the only sexualized roles I've ever gotten. Tina, Sprout. Luckily, Tina Sprout doesn't outright like do anything. She just says things at the really wrong moment, and her pants go missing at one point. And you're just like, "What happened? Yeah. Tina, where'd your pants go? Tina, where's your pants?" But unfortunately, we all in the booth get really immature and we make fun of it because that's just what we are. But yeah, you definitely kind of have to do that separation. I'll be interested to see how that actually affects anime in the coming years with that. But to be fair, well, the law, but all they have to do is slap a label and say, oh, she's drawn like this, but she's actually like 16.
I think what they're getting by with is, what show was I watching? Oh my gosh. I was watching a show recently where the character is clearly 16, but she is drawn as she's like, looks like a, what was that show? I know Lucky Star is famous for it. They all look like little kids.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's very interesting.
Like when they come up with like a magical reason.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're billion years old.
Right?
Yeah. And it's like, but why is it a child's body? I've never seen a sorcerer in like an old woman's body. What's wrong?
Everyone decides they want to be stuck in a child's body. Who is it? Rory Mercury is super old and she's stuck in. Hers is a little more, she's preteen age, but it's still kind of creepy because she gets super sexualized at certain points.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, Japan, why can't you just say she's a 16-year-old who's flat? Why does she gotta be young? Why can't she just have nothing? There are girls who have nothing. Let's give them some representation too there.
But there are good shows in the sense of they give really good representation to women, and I found mostly that's shoujos. Shoujo will give pretty good representations. There are some shonen mangas like One Piece. Women are sexualized, but they're very, very strong. Mm-hmm. And I was like, good job. Finally, women can kick ass. Cool. But I just don't like when characters are sexualized. I've never been a fan of it. The only time I was like, oh my gosh, this is hilarious, was La Fina. That was the only time I was ever comfortable with it. But even while reading Chobits, I'm like,
I think there's a separation of sexualization for being funny and sexualization just because of sexualization.
Yeah.
Because I'm totally about fan service. I mean, I love Monster Musume, and that's a lot of fan service. But I also like equal parts fan service. Like, if you're gonna give me the girls, turn around and give me the guy booty too, because that's how that needs to work.
Free. I've never seen Free.
I actually have never seen Free.
Me either.
I don't actually watch a lot of shows with dudes, which is bad. I end up playing more video games, and I'm just like, well, If anybody's played Terra Online or Blade and Soul, y'all know what I'm talking about with that armor, which probably people don't, but the females, some of them have very showy armor, but the great part is, some of the guys just have ab windows, and it's glorious. But I feel like anime has not hit that point yet, which I'm very sad about.
Video games will hit or miss in the sense I've noticed. I was in a game, Fairy Prince or F, and I played Tiara, where, you know, when you first meet her, she's like, oh, mate, I'm a proper lady, would you like some tea? By the way, I poisoned you, haha. But then you find out she is a masochist, and she only gets aroused by if the main character is degrading her, like, he calls his character bitch, slut, all this stuff. And I'm just like, what is that?
That's a very Japanese concept. A lot of hentai actually goes into that, and it's a really weird culture shock thing. I think it is something deeply rooted in Japan society regarding that, and I don't know what it is, but it's very common throughout. Like, even if you watch, like, Bible Black, which I hope everybody's watched it, at least for the terrible dubbing of it, because it's hilarious.
I haven't seen it. I've been doing stories.
Well, I can't believe I'm saying this at 10 a.m. in the morning panel, but there's like 3 people, so I don't care. Yeah, my friendship test is putting people through Bible Black.
Oh, that's a good friendship test, I guess. It's like, can you withstand this?
Well, if I show them Bible Black, they can't possibly be offended by anything else I say or do. So I've pushed you to your limits already. And
push the envelope and sealed and mailed it.
Pretty much, it's like, this is what you're getting.
Yep,
okay.
There you go.
Here you go. This is right there on the table.
I know I'm hoping one day anime will overcome the fact that characters need to be sexualized when sometimes they don't. Like in Xenoblade Chronicles, my friend Cassandra Lee Morris, she voices the 14-year-old. I think she's 14, and I know for the American release, they actually edited her clothing. It was very sexual for a 14-year-old. I'm like, what the hell? So luckily when they brought it over, they gave her more clothes, and some fans were like, that is my cell phone going off? And, sorry about that. But there have been instances where a character is not sexualized, and I think that's pretty great. But that was a long answer to the question. I'm sorry.
I got a feeling the change will be kind of slow, but
I think
I agree with you because I love the fiction of like strike witches.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of little girl naughty bits. I mean, serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a fun show still to watch it, but sometimes it's just hard to like it. But I love it too.
And
the same character designer did Girls with Panzer, where the fan service is the tanks, and that was a good change.
That was a good change, especially with like I can take 2 of my early shows. You know both of them, Girls in Panzer and Bodacious Space Pirates had little to no fan service in them, and I think,
Bodacious.
So Bodacious Space Pirates is Moretsu Pirates in Japan, so I don't know how the translation happened, but no, Bodacious Space Pirates is actually super awesome. Like the only moment you can minutely say there is fan service is when they put on their spacesuits and they're slightly tight, but that's it.
Yeah, I think the fan service now was the tactics of...
Yeah, like the space tactics. Like both of them have things that are supposed to be more appealing. Is you have these high school girls doing space battles, and then in Girls in Panzer you have the tankery. But a show like Girls in Panzer and Moretsu Pirates I sing praises for because not only does it allow for strong female characters, it also... Something that's always bothered me about the strong female character stereotype that goes around now, or what we have deemed the strong female character, it's also been very diminishing to girls who want to be feminine but also be badasses. And I play Hana, who is a girl who is super proper, she's into floral arrangements. Initially she was going to be the tank's driver, but she gets knocked out in a fight because they get hit. She gets knocked out, so they had to get a new driver. When she finally wakes up, she gets hold of the gun, and she is so excited that she's like, I just want to do this. Just let me be the gunner. So you have this thing of, when you think of a girl who's running around wielding a gun, like a big tank gun, you're not thinking of this little girl who does floral arrangements in her spare time. She's the perfect Japanese woman stereotype put into that and altered in a really cool way. And I think shows like that, there need to be more of that, because I think that helps to get younger girls into anime, and there's not enough of that to appeal to them and draw them in like we were when we were younger.
Because I think one of my first animes was Tenchi Muyo, and there's a lot of sexualism in that show, but at that time, it was on Toonami, and they were wearing bathing suits, so as a kid, I never knew they were naked. Or I never knew they were being sexualized, and it cut the show so much. And I got my mom and dad bought me the DVD for like my very first like birthday anime present, and I watched it, and I'm like, this isn't the same show. Like, there's like ball jokes and boobs and Ryoko, what? So, I mean, I still love the show. It's actually near.
I actually have never watched the uncut version.
Amazing. But there are some shows where, sorry, a huge tangent, I'm sorry, where like Evangelion, these children are 14 years old. Why are you doing close-up of Asuka wearing her plug suit? Like she's 14.
There's no age in anime.
There is no age, and I think their reasoning is, oh, it's cartoons. We can just, it doesn't mean any harm.
They are starting, at least the industry over there is starting to see the anime industry as something to export. Hopefully they'll start catering to us.
Well, I also know that we, as the U.S., idolize college, and college is like our years of our lives, whereas in Japan, it's high school. And that, I think, kind of...
That's a definitely culture thing.
Oh, yeah.
We're all like, you want to go back to high school? I'm like, hell no.
Hell no.
No, I think about myself in high school and I want to throw a shoe at myself and just be like, you are dumb. You are dumb.
I never understood that saying high school's the best years of your lives.
No.
Like,
you put early in high school and you see what happens there.
Yeah, it's like, I'd rather live in my 20s or my 30s. Like, actually experience life instead of like, I'm gonna go to my homeroom and then meet my crush, yeah. Like,
that is every that's a shoujo anime.
Yeah, or like, and they crash into each other and she's like, watch where you're going. And he's like, I'm sorry, I love you. And it's like, those shows are great, but like I really love My Love Story because it's a different form of relationships, and it actually has women be a very good thing.
Speaking of that, since we're talking about characterizations, what type of characterizations are you guys drawn to? Not just for the characters that you're working, but also for the characters. Just like, I feel like watching anime today. I don't have to go to work. I just want to binge. What type of characters are you?
Oh man, so I have two answers on this, because normally when I watch an anime, I would always see the characters like, I really want to play that. I really love the Luna love good characters, like the ones who are always out there, very spacey.
Okay.
The ones that they're kind of always in their dream world. I really love those type of characters. I don't know why, but I always like the really weird ones. But second, I always love, it's not the exact femme fatale character. I do love my femme fatales, but I love strong chicks. Like, if they are not afraid to animate a girl with a six-pack who still looks good, I think they are awesome, because there needs to be more female body builds, and yeah, those are kind of the type. I love the Luna Lovegood, and I love the strong ones. They are definitely my favorite. It's really hard to say. I have a kind of an aversion to female protagonists normally. As bad as that sounds, like, I'm not drawn to protagonists. I love side characters way more for some reason, especially because with like anime, a lot of characters are made to be self-inserts, and I don't like inserting myself into shows. I like to watch it for, I like to lose myself in a story about someone else and not think of, oh, if I was this character, this is what I'd want to do, which a lot of anime does, so they two-dimensionalize the main female or male character, so I try to avoid them like the plague.
Yeah. I really enjoy proper characters, like the girl next door characters, anyone I can actually relate to. It's like, oh, that was me back in the day. Or, oh, I've done that in the past. Like a character I actually really enjoy and I love the show is Shimoneta. If anyone here has seen it, it's a boring world where dirty jokes do not exist. And it's pretty great. And with the main character, she's the main character, and then you meet this other character named Anna. And she's a proper lady, you know, she's like, oh, it's nice to meet you, and all that stuff. But she can literally kill you. Like, there's a scene where these guys come in, and she's like, well, I'm gonna roundhouse kick you, and I'm gonna taser you, and then I'm just gonna go, this is great. Like, it doesn't really affect her in the sense of what she's doing is so cool. And I really think that's smart in the sense of, like, I like those characters. Like, they have, like, a sudden hidden side of, like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I voiced Hitsugeki Gaia in Real Story Devil, but you think she's, like, the sweet little girl and everything, but you find out she's actually a murderer. She poisons people. And I thought that was
always
cool.
The quiet, cute one.
Yeah, I like it when that character has so much depth and you're like, oh, I didn't know that could happen. I really am drawn to those characters.
Attack on Titan did a really good job of bringing, because I had a lot of friends who don't really watch anime, but they brought a lot of people into anime.
Oh yeah, that and One
They did a
Punch
really
Man.
good job. Funimation did a good job pushing it too. And Junior High was even.
Junior High is pretty great.
It was way better than.
Pretty adorable. Like, you never knew that them going to school was so freaking cute.
I really actually like animes like that take break. I'm okay with the main Full Metal Panic series, but Full Metal Panic from Ofu is one of my favorite things, just because it takes a break from all the seriousness to get to know the characters in a different light. And you were going on afterwards.
Male characters that we drawn to.
Ooh. Anyone who treats women right. I'm a huge fan of that. I don't like characters. Everyone's like, oh, I totally love this guy. And I'm like, he's totally an asshole. What's with this bad boy thing? Like, that was supposed to phase out when we were like, what, 10? I do like those people. I also really like characters. Like, right now I'm really obsessed with Erased. It's amazing. I've never really, I usually like the female characters more, but this male character, I'm like, oh my god, you are so precious, and all you want to do is save everyone. And I really like male characters like that, or anyone who treats someone nice. The only asshole quote-unquote I still like, is Kiyosoma from Fruits Basket. He's just misunderstood.
So I don't like the tsundere boys. What I really like is male characters that have a lot of, like, I'm gonna say on that level, like, you see them acting a certain way, but then you get into the depth of them and it finally explains it, which will fall into the bad boy category sometimes. I will mention, I don't like a lot of anime guys as much. My reference is things like Red Hood from Batman. Characters like that. I also really like the flamboyant guys. I don't know why, but characters like Dick Grayson, Noriko from Fushigi Yugi. Yeah. I really love the out there characters. Straight Cougar from Scryed. I love him. Just, they're so outlandish and they're so out there, and you're like, why can't I see more of you in the series? Why do I gotta deal with this protag that's sitting there
doing nothing?
Or he's like brooding the whole time. I'm like, I don't want to see you brood. I want to see the goofy side character who's that. I do like it, like, one of my favorite things about Red Hood is that when you pair a straight man with a funny man and you get that sort of bromance character, I love bromance. Bromance is probably one of my favorite things in an anime series, and if it is written well, you will sell me on really good bromance. Not when it crosses the romance line. It's got to be solid bromance.
It's like fist pump.
I think like the best way to put it is like JD and Turk from Scrubs.
Like, yeah, God,
yeah,
they're married.
Like if it where it crosses that line where you're like, yeah, you two were gay, you'd be together, but you're not, so you're not together. But if in another world, that's how that would work out. It's Bromance is a very special thing, and it stays as just lines.
Appreciated.
There's shades of bromance, but it's always just bromance. Sorry, I'm thinking Red Arrow. No, Arsenal and Red Hood, and there's a ridiculous scene that I'm thinking about in regards to that.
Yeah. I just like anime.
You're giving me that look.
I'm getting shot at by the camera.
I know that I'm just like, any more questions? You can ask anything.
So you brought up One Piece earlier, and I One Piece before 4 kids. Let's ignore that. That never happened.
That never happened.
That never happened. But I really did enjoy One Piece, especially when it started, because all the female characters were not like the hourglass figure, and like Vivi and a lot of other girls were really strong, but like after the 3-year gap happened, I'm like, all the girls look the same.
I've noticed that too. It's really upsetting in the sense of like, oh, they have individuality. You can tell which one's which, and they actually have all different personalities. And nowadays shows, like Fairy Tale, I was on episode 50. And then I watched a recent episode my friend Marissa's in. I'm like, why is Lucy wearing a bandana on her breasts? What is going on with this show? And what happens is the mangaka or the animators like, we need more fans. What sells? Fan service. And it's sad because shows can be so wonderful without it. And I mean, a funny moment here and there, but it's like, Lucy, put your top back on. Like, you were such a strong heroine.
And I hate to say this, but Fairy Tale was a One Piece ripoff, and that's how it started. And I actually went to it. I was like, I had suggested it because because when I had been reading fairy tales, it was for younger kids. I was like, oh yeah, Fairy Tale, this is a great series, and like I recommended it to like some younger kids. And then I went to go look on it online, and it like ecchi. It was like action adventure ecchi, and I was like, oh no,
what did I do?
And at that moment, it's not your fault, because when you're reading, you're like, this is a great manga, this is a great anime, you should watch it. And as how it progresses, that's the director's decision, that's the producer's decision in Japan, and unfortunately, tits and ass sells, sex sells.
Yeah.
It's an old scene.
It is what sells. I'm always impressed when a series that does have fan service manages to be more than it's simply
Tasteful.
Anybody watch Monster Musume in this room?
I did.
So something about that I really like about the Monster Girl concept that comes out, despite the show is full of fan service and edgy moments where you kind of roll your eyes. They're comedic, but also the show does a really good job, especially with taking it's an exaggeration of having females who all have really weird, almost embarrassing traits that they have to deal with. We all have those in life. We all have those things that we find crippling about ourselves in that. And I really like the Monster Girl concept brings that out, that they all have like embarrassing habits that they have to do. And you kind of get to see that, and how for once like the main character's like super understanding about it, where you're just like, yes, you're a good guy. I understand why everybody likes you for once, instead of being like, you're cardboard. Why does everybody like you? That's what I've never understood about Tenchi. Why did people like Tenchi?
He's just
he
so
was
bland.
nothing to look at.
Well, that's why I said the
rat
time
tail.
was Tenchi Muyo. There's no need for Tenchi.
There was no need. I'm like, just follow Ryoko as a space pirate and have Ryo-Oki. I will be happy. Why are you wanting Tenchi? I didn't understand that.
He's just the everyday average Joe, and he's like, I'm going to school.
I'm gonna insert myself into the series.
I have so many women wanting me, but I don't want any of them. And it's like,
and that Tenchi in Tokyo happened, and we're just like, what?
that never happened.
Have either of you seen Prison School?
Yes.
That one's a hard one at first to get into, but the writing is really good.
It's really good. One of my friends.
The jokes just were.
It's very smart. He described Prison School, because I remember that was a huge deal. It's like, because there are some things like there is huge fan service with what's her name, Mako. She has big boobs and like it's always showing her thong. And another character gets peed on. And that was a huge thing. And Alexis, who plays Hana, who is the one who gets urinated on, she's like, I knew I was getting into, I was comfortable with it. You know, it's a character, it wasn't me. And most people forget that because they're like, oh, you did it. Like, no, that's a character. that is a character.
That must be hard for you guys sometimes.
It is, because some fans and some people can't differentiate.
They can't divorce it.
They really can't. And with Prison School, my friend Cliff Chapin, who plays, what's his name? He's the blondie with the hair, super cool looking. He told me it's basically Porky's. It's Porky's meets American Pie in an anime. And as long as you look at it like that, it's okay then.
I actually did not watch Prison School, and not because I thought it was bad or anything. I just have really weird things about art styles. And that is like...
That is the thing.
Well, more along the lines like, has anybody seen... Battle Royale. First option of Battle Royale.
Yay.
Who knows there was a really awful manga put out?
Yep.
Yeah, so Prison School gave me flashbacks to the Battle Royale manga and the art style, so I could not watch it.
Okay.
Where I was just like, oh no. Oh no. Yeah, the Battle Royale manga is terrible. It is bad. I did not... My friend gave it to me. He's like, hey, can you hold these at your house? I'm like, oh cool, it's Battle Royale. Then I read it and I'm like, what are you making me guard? You are just super mad your parents are gonna find out you have porn and you gave it to me. Why?
Yeah. Like, there's this show I've been trying to watch because I always try to support the shows that the studio I'm with gets. And Funimation picked up the show called Pandora and the Ghost Crimson Shell Urn, whatever. Oh God, I tried so hard watching it. It is literally trash. There are some shows where
You're just like it's trash.
this was literally made for the otakus because it's robots, and I was telling my roommate, like, they're sexualizing these kids. Like, she's a robot, yet her button is in her vagina. And I'm like, that's a cop-out of tropes, and that's no reason for your button to be there. There's a reason for her cheese to be there.
I've never understood that.
Oh God, that show. I mean, I tried so hard.
Like, logistically, why?
It's everyone in that show's a loli, and it just... Oh God. It's so...
They're aliens. They are not 12-year-olds. They are aliens.
They're cyborgs.
They are a race of their own. They are not that age. That is really the mentality I have to go with anytime they come
so
out.
hard getting through that sentence, and I was like, that show is just awful. But...
So I have a question.
Yeah.
2014, Diabolic Lovers came out, and I remember seeing the response on Hulu, and people hated that show. Like, it seemed like guys and girls alike hated that show. It was like, you are terrible for watching this.
Yeah.
Don't watch this show. And I was like, this show's fucking awesome. I love this show. Can't wait for season 2. Like,
So, yeah, I watched Diabolic Lovers. Who called? I'm trying to remember the name. Diabolic Wife Beaters is what I was called online. That was the one I saw the most. I know who posted that too, because he follows me on Twitter, and I'm like, well, you know what? I am big about to each their own on it. The vampire genre, I don't think should be a happy genre, and if the girl's into that, that's her thing. And
here's my thing about it. A lot of the comments were just like, you didn't hear anybody from the other side say anything. Like, people like me who like kind of go for that thing. But they made it seem like you're a bad person for watching this, and you're a bad woman, especially for like you shouldn't even like this if you're female. Like, who would like this if you're a girl?
No.
You shouldn't like this because girls shouldn't like.
Okay, Caitlyn's taking off her jacket because Caitlyn's got a tangent coming in.
Like a vampire, just so watch Twilight. Like,
it's like, I'm not into freaking werewolves.
Still,
True Blood.
No. I read the True Blood books. I mean,
If there's
first
live
off,
action, I bet no one would make that argument.
see, no, if that was a show that was a reverse situation, they'd be laughing at it. So part of the thing is with any sort of feminism or stuff is I hate it. I absolutely hate it when someone tells me what I should and should not like as a female. If I decide I like my girl scantily clad and running around in armor, that's what I like. That is my feminist right to say that is what I like. if I like watching a show that has vampire guys and it's rough and it's a little like that, that is my right. The fact that someone, especially a bunch of guys who are probably white knighting in the first place, trying to be like...
It was like girls. That's
well,
what made
girls,
me feel uncomfortable
that's
for me.
awful.
I was like, for like 2 seconds, I was
well,
like...
and then no, you're not right either, because that is your right to like what you like. That is your right to like whatever you like. I actually think the designs in that show are absolutely gorgeous. That show is not... There's so much to it because of like the abuse the guys go through. Those situations are messed up, and you understand why they're like that. It's very...
Also, that can happen in real life, like
Yes.
abuse in relationships with men.
Well, and also just in general, that show has a lot of complexity when you look at the relationships with the characters and everything.
Isn't it a game? A dating game? Is that what it is?
No, I
wouldn't
think...
be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I only know the anime of it. It's the same... You guys have a show that was done by the same people, Dawn and Bennett's the lead anime.
Oh, Dance with Devils.
Yes, they're exact same creators also did that one.
Oh yeah, there's a shit ton of vampires.
I think people are... One of my big pet peeves has been online is that too many people are wanting to jump down the I don't want to call it politically correct because it's not, but they want to go on this defensive of this is the right way to be a woman or this is
the only way.
The only way. And you have the conservative side, and people don't realize when they're fighting against the, oh, we're making these people too sexualized, they're also going completely liberal, but they're still being super conservative. We're not meeting in the middle with that, and that's dumb.
Yeah.
The fact is, people are going to like what they like, and no one has the right to tell you, man, woman, female, dog. They can't tell you that unless it is illegal, and no, that's not illegal. That's not illegal. You like vampire, you like whatever. I think the show's actually pretty. I have several friends who are in that show. I haven't watched it all the way through just because I have so much else. I have like a queue of anime right now that I'm like, I need to get through.
Total girl fan service.
Well, and you know what? Good on them for making it because there needs to be more of that.
We have like women like fan service. It's like we only have like that much, and usually it's the same in every show.
Well, and we like
guy fan service, like this whole room.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah, we get this whole
it's like there's a pie chart. That's woman in.
Well, I think they don't understand like the whole women don't want guys half dressed all the time. We like the weird psychological. There's multiple layers. That is our porn for us. Like no one has to lose clothing. Like if this situation's going on, you're like, oh, that's why he's like this. This is what this is going on. Oh no, what does this mean here? And you have all these guys woven around this one girl, and you're just like, it's so good. That's what it is for us, and I don't think people get that.
Yeah, it's hard to do a psychological fan service.
It is. It is very difficult.
That's why ultimate games exist. You get to choose who you want to date.
Are you really excited for season 2?
I already started watching it. I started watching it at work. I was
good.
Down. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I think it might be finished.
Is it finished already? I'm so behind on this season. I still need to finish Danmachi. We started it and haven't finished it yet.
It's okay. Any other questions? Or just conversations?
Yes, we are open to all conversations at this point if we steer away from the anime women.
I can make you incredibly sad because I looked up the law you mentioned for the underage depictions in anime. Mm-hmm. There is a law passed 4 years ago that I think the exact verbiage is something like against the depiction of underage girls in extreme sexual situations.
Yeah.
Anime and manga companies are exempt from the law.
Oh yeah, I remember that now.
I was gonna say, how does fake collide exist?
Yeah,
it would be too dangerous for the economy.
Yeah, I know Japan's trying to at least have that law in set, especially when it comes to that stuff, because I'm sorry, I don't want to read a book or watch an anime where a 10-year-old is like, oh, her big brother.
They do way too much of that.
They do. They have fetishes.
I'm gonna play them. There's my job market.
But hey, you do a good job.
I think it's also because I have no shame in the booth.
Man, I didn't know that. It's kind of a little upsetting. I was having so much hope with that.
So how do you feel about characters like Fujiko Mine? Because that's what got me into Lupin.
They have Fuchiko
Like I love the whole, like the
Lupin
whole.
the Third.
Yeah, the whole like the woman called Fujiko Mine, how they.
Oh, that's awesome. She's full of power.
Yeah.
She's like, she exudes power, and she's like, basically like a Bond girl in an anime.
Well, she's
But
with
she's-
the guys.
She's not a Bond girl in that she's a tag-along. She does her own thing. The only thing that always baffles me is that Fujiko's body, she's a master of disguise, and she's the only one built like that, so every time like a person shows up, I'm like, that's Fujiko. I don't know, well, that's kind of her body type.
Yeah, it's
Is there anybody else who is built like that in the show? But I think Fujiko's like BA. Every time I've seen her, I think it's awesome because I feel like she gives Lupin the runaround, and that needs to happen more in animes.
Yeah.
I love it when the females outsmarting the males half the time.
I think that's pretty cool too. Yeah, I love her.
Michiko Hachim was actually pretty good.
Oh god, that was amazing.
That
It's on, I think it's rerunning on
The
TV.
dub was actually really good too.
Yeah.
Yes, that
It's,
is so good.
And anything by Watanabe is amazing. I also like for series like Cowboy Bebop and that show. There are certain shows where they picture women like
Sexy,
normal.
but they're strong. It's like
Yes,
like a
sexy,
man
strong.
to be
Yeah.
strong.
Yes, it's okay. And like
You also don't need that happy ending.
No.
Yeah,
just
I
find
love
closure.
No, don't have the ending for you.
Like Gay Valentine's ending, I was like crying. Like, you know what? She got what she wanted. She got closure.
Yeah.
And I think
That
shows like
was-
that are amazing. I think they actually affect me more in the sense of, wow, that show was outstanding. I want to tell everyone about it. Unlike shows like, oh, you like Monster Musume? I do too. Well, what should we talk about? It's great. But
You're just like, yeah.
it's like yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that the Monster Girl Harem show that just came
Yes.
But that's a fun show.
It is fun.
I like it.
See, and that's a show that while it does have a lot of fan service, the characters are so unique and so well built also,
You can also get to know
you
them.
can bypass them. The only person that you get a little ridiculous with the fan service, you're just like, Sue, stop.
Yeah.
Sue, stop.
Sue, put your clothes. Sue. Okay.
Sue. But again, it's that concept like that I really like with Monster Girl characters is that it exaggerates every female has flaws and that we all have to deal with these glaring weirdness about it. It's like poor Mia, giant snake girl. She gets excited and breaks things with her tail. Or you have Maroon, she has to be pushed around in a wheelchair when she's out of water because that's what happens. But she's super charming. She's not held back by that fact either. But it's really cool that you see this weird disability also portrayed because she has to be carried around. She can't be out of the water. Happy is super hyper and a complete bird brain, so you're constantly dealing with her forgetting things, which we're all flaky in real life. So I think there's a really cool and Centaur, Centaur.
Oh my gosh.
Insecurities.
Well, it's the insecurities I feel for Centauria because she feels like she's a centaur, so her size, she always has to duck in doorways, she doesn't fit places, and she always gets up, and you're just like, oh, poor baby. And in Monster Girl Squad, there's the giant also, and she's one of like this, I love it because she's the giant, and she's super strong, but she's also like the sweetest character there is. She has this little high-pitched voice, and it's so counterbalancing to what you probably would have gotten from like the strong woman with the manly voice. It's this super strong girl, but she has this like tiny voice, and she's just really wants to fit in these really cute clothing, but she doesn't all the time, and you're like, oh, I feel for you so much. I know this feel for you.
I looked her up. I looked her up. She's 7'5".
I
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
you think that my female, everybody's shorter than her.
It's a top. That's all I want in life. She
Yes.
can't. We can all relate to that in the sense of like they have flaws and we have flaws. And like, oh, I can relate to that because usually shows I've seen with harems, they always have to stupefy certain characters.
You always have the
Too
one
much
big
tsundere.
group.
They always have the
Much
Mihoshi.
tsundere.
She's like, oh my gosh, I'm breaking everything. Ah! And it's like, man, it doesn't matter if you're blonde. Come on, show some representation. But yeah, that's a good question.
Did Rockneo make you like spiders or something?
I respect spiders as long as they don't come near me.
Just start respect spiders.
Just don't come near me and I won't kill them.
What about even those like adorable little jumping spiders?
No. No, those toilet spiders in Australia? Hell no.
No, not those. Like the ones with kind of short legs that actually have like the big sort of anime eyes.
No.
So,
As long as we have
scary spider story. I went to the shower one day. I lived in Kansas, and there was a black widow in my spider. In my shower.
Your spider.
In my spiderception. But there's nothing worse than seeing one of the most deadly spiders while you're wrapped in a towel, feeling completely and utterly vulnerable, and then you're just like, I'm done with life at this point. So me and spiders are not, I respect spiders.
Yes.
But no. You had a question.
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys know about what's coming out, but are there more things coming out, like, some stuff that I'm drawn to, like Nana, or like Paradise Kiss, or like Beck that has like actual women, they're not like monster size.
Yeah.
My love story is really cute. If you really like the shoujo genre.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else. This season, Erased is amazing.
I know. She's so not trying to be happy for anybody. She's like, I hate her.
Yeah, that show's so good though. Other shows I watch who have strong females.
Gate.
Gate is amazing.
Gate, you have... So, Kill is hilarious.
Yes, I mean, Ryuko is pretty strong.
I wish those DVDs were $1 million.
Yeah, so...
But Gate, I want to hear more about this.
So Gate has this, when I first heard of it, I wasn't thinking anything about it because it introduced the concept of like, Japan meets a fantasy world. And I'm like, okay, well, we've done that. We've been there with Outbreak Company. So it turns out this show is actually dealing with the military aspects of it. And you have the fantasy girls who, the elf, the mage, and Roy Mercury. But then you have the military girls who are just as awesome and hardcore as the fantasy girls in it. But it's dealing with the reality of what happens when a portal opens up in the middle of Japan street. And all these, like a dragon comes through. And there's a military invasion, and they just start killing people in the streets of Tokyo. And the main character,
he's... And this is played for like gags.
No, it's all done super seriously. Like when I describe this, it's all done in a super serious style. Like the opening even, I was like, okay, we got our generic otaku, he's at a manga thing, he's buying manga, and you walk out into the street, it starts happening. And then suddenly he grabs a knife and shanks a dude, and you're like, whoa! What just happened? And you find out he's part of Japan's Special Forces. So like, already you have so many stereotypes put in place that they set you up to lure you in with, and then they destroy them in front of you, and it's so awesome!
Now we got you.
Excited, like her hand gesture.
No, like I completely skipped over this show because I did not think anything of it. I watched Monster Musume and I got into Danmachi because I'm a D&D player, Pathfinder player, and they have a lot of references to that. So I was like, oh, this is awesome! How to pick up girls in a dungeon. This is really cute and Belle's adorable. But then I started watching this show and this is amazing because it takes, I love shows that take the stereotypes and set you up to believe here's the stereotype, and they absolutely decimate it in front of you. And they create a great story. Every storyline's interesting. The characters you think are set up to be fan service characters, like Rory Mercury is the only one who's like remotely more fan servicey than anything.
Yeah.
And they actually explain that. The elf is the one I was really worried about, being like the fan service of, oh, she's going to be the main love interest, you're going to see this.
And they also start her out naked.
Yeah, you start her out naked, but then you find out about her and you're just crushed. The entire story with Tuca right now is just heart-wrenching.
Does she have PTSD or what?
Like, well, it's PTSD, and I don't want to spoil anything about it, but she has a really sad storyline regarding her father. So
there was one fight scene where the commander told one of the girls to watch Rory, and they just go run straight to battle, and the two guys are like following behind them, and they're just like,
yeah,
oh, fuck.
So you have
their backs, make sure no one comes up behind them because, god damn it, they're just gonna go kill everyone.
You have the fantasy girl who goes out and kicks ass, but then you have the military girl who's like 5'3", wears her side ponytail. Take her gun and just go out there and rock it like a military chick. It is awesome. So there is no unequal ground in the fact that this girl, one of the girls is a priestess for a death god, and one girl is a Japan special forces. There is no difference in their fighting style. They both kick ass, and they aren't crippled by one thing or another. And I think that's super.
I thought she was just self-defense force. I didn't think that she was special forces.
Well, it's Japan's their defense forces.
Yeah. Well, because that actually even makes it better. Because she's just a standard soldier able to.
She's a standard. That chick is my friend Lauren in a nutshell. Like, I've seen that character and I'm like, that is Lauren. My husband's in the military, so it also makes a lot of military references that are, and inside jokes that if you have been in the military are really funny, but you don't need to have been in the military to appreciate it either. It's taking a genre of fantasy meets reality and breaking it. It breaks the entire mold of, and that's why I love it. It really was a show that I looked over and then I went back and watched it. I'm like, why did I skip this? Especially if you like the psychological stuff too. There's a lot of that.
And it has one of the prettiest ending sequences of this season. You know, it's just got the Humvee and just the.
Well, for summer season 2 has started now. I am waiting because I marathon shows. I can't sit and watch week to week. I have to have all of it at that point in time, and I must digest it now.
I completely understand that.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't torture myself like that, where I'm just like, is it Tuesday yet? Tuesday yet? I need my fix.
Gotta get my fix.
I need it.
Hey.
So, yeah, I just totally went on my Gate tangent. That's a really good one to check out.
Gate's pretty great. I actually can't think of any shows right now. If I think of them later, I'll let you know. But I have no sleep. So 2 minutes? 10
minutes.
Any other questions?
I had a question. What you guys, how you felt about like female representation in Western media? Because it kind of seems like, I mean, well, you have like the harem shows, but then usually involves at least a lot of females together, and you get to like diverse characters. Well, in a lot of Western stuff, it tends to just be, well, crap, I guess we need a woman here so no one thinks the guys are gay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. I mean, it seems like it's actually getting better since My Little Pony took off, but.
So, I'm a big comic book fan. And, let me clear my throat on this one. Because I'm noticing a big glaring error currently with Marvel. And Marvel's females, they finally introduced Wasp. But for the longest time, all they had in the movies was Black Widow. And they did not give Black Widow anything. They've left her out of toy lines. Her storylines have been crappy. There's nothing. Black Widow could be replaced by a male and me not care. It would be the exact same thing. There would be no difference in what Black Widow is.
Except for the scene where she's in the chair being awesome. That wouldn't have been as good if it was guy.
It wouldn't, but it still would have been. It still would have been a secret agent doing it. It would have been. Yeah. Marvel's best females are X-Men, and they don't have those rights.
Yeah.
Like if you think of Marvel's best females. Name females in Marvel that are not X-Men who are super prominent and super popular.
Squirrel Girl?
That's an X-Men.
That is an X-Men.
I thought she was an Avenger.
A lot of X-Men became Avengers. X-Men first.
She-Hulk is one of the ones, but...
Yeah, but they've toned her down. They've told her she can't be sexy lawyer anymore.
The new Miss Marvel?
New Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel is actually one of the better ones, but they do not give her enough credit either. She's not well known amongst females, unfortunately. Carol Danvers is skipped over constantly.
I want them to make like a lawyer movie just starring She-Hulk, so it's like, it's a normal to
single female lawyer?
And then just one scene, they just have her getting pissed off at like an attorney or something, and she has to go bench press a train.
If they would let so what's bothered me recently is that Marvel's kind of gone on one of those kicks where they've gotten really conservative about things in a completely opposite aspect. What I liked about She-Hulk is she was a strong female. She was okay with having sex. That's what she enjoyed. That's part of that thing where they've kind of cut that off. They're like, no, we're not including this about her anymore. This is not a thing about her because they think people are getting angry about that.
Sex is a bad thing.
Which is where I am not okay because I don't like being told what I'm allowed to enjoy as a female. I don't like being told I'm a strong female if I'm openly okay with sex and things like that.
So here's my thing. If I was like trying to market to you guys, I would be so fucking confused. Because like, I want you to be able to say she's sexy, but then it's like, don't overly sexualize.
Well, I think that's
what the fuck?
I think that's how comics are right now. But the thing is, I think also people forget that every woman is different and we're all going to have opinions, so you can't specifically market to women because we're all too confusing in the first place.
I think one of the things is if the female is actually making the decision,
Yes.
and it is not a male making the decision for
The
her.
female.
That is why Harley Quinn's new backstory is absolute crap.
Oh, what did they do to her?
For those of you who don't know, Harley Quinn's backstory in the New 52 was changed from the original backstory of Mad Love, where she's the one who breaks the Joker out because she falls in love with him, to Joker decides he's going to throw her into a vat. They have taken...
What?
You didn't know? Okay! I'm a Harley Quinn fangirl. So, in the New 52, they rewrote Harley Quinn's backstory to... She was his psychologist still, but it's still all like the romancing and stuff. He gets her out, kidnaps her, and throws her into the same vat he was thrown in. In the new Suicide Squad movie, they make a really creepy, like, baptism scene happen in that vat. Also.
That is the lamest lame that ever lamed a lame.
It is.
Why would they do that?
Because
that's stupid.
DC's DC.
Well, luckily it's New 52, so it's a different universe.
I can see why they would do that though.
I mean,
I can see why
I can see why, but
it is definitely made to the darker audience. It's also made to appeal to the. They really sexed up Harley Quinn definitely for that. Especially in the new comics, like Harley Quinn was always very innocent in the Batman, and up until this point, and then it's like Joker at that point was what happened is the Heath Ledger Joker came out in the comics, so they started making a blend of the Heath Ledger and the Mark Hamill Joker, but they ended up going to Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger Joker is not the Joker that would have a sidekick, really, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but they tried to make Harley start matching that, and it didn't work out really well. Like in the New 52 comic, Joker takes his face off at some point, and they make Harley put this face on Deadshot and make out with it. That is why those comics are awful.
5 minutes.
Yes. I hope. Yes, this is a real comic. I own Suicide Squad in which this happened. That is why I stopped reading Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Yeah.
He takes his face off.
Yeah, he peels his own face off at some point.
So he's dead.
No.
No.
He got better.
No one kills the Joker. The Joker can't just die. Like, no one will let him die.
You're going to die.
They burned him in Arkham Knight, and I still had to deal with that asshole the entire time.
No, he's been put into the pit. He's been put into Ratio's pit, so he just gets to come back forever now because he's immortal.
He always had
Okay. I'm a little shocked. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I'm lost for words.
No, but I have a coworker who, and this is what I've been hearing at other cons, last year and the year before, is that a lot of the stuff that was made originally for kids, people don't they're trying to grow it up and make it older and make it darker, and it's turning off a lot of the old fans. It's like,
yeah, it's like it loses
now
its
you're
charm.
getting sadistic. This is
well, and that's the thing. It's edgy McEdgelord that's happening.
Yeah.
I'm a role player.
It's like
it's exactly that, and they're
Extra credits had a really good thing about that, because video games do that too. Because as you get older, you want the things that you had when you were younger.
You do want to be appealed to as an adult, but you still want enough that you can still be like, whoa, don't take my childhood and
But that's
edge it up.
when they try to do that, they don't know how to do it right. They think maturity just means adding cussing and blood.
So here's a really good example. The old Ninja Turtle movies that Michael Bay put out was super darker. They tried to make it realistic, and everyone was like, Michael Bay, you killed our childhood. But how many of you are now excited after seeing the new Ninja Turtles 2 trailer that's coming out because they went full cheese? You're not?
They did.
Yeah.
They went full cheese.
They played 80s music.
Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah.
They're actually making the Hands Ninja. We haven't even gotten Bebop and Rocksteady in the original movies. We've been waiting forever to finally have Bebop and Rocksteady. We're getting Casey Jones, who is played by Stephen Amell, who is he's a very underrated actor and person overall.
We have one question for one more.
Yeah, sorry. This is my
time for one more
conversation.
question. Wow. I'm tired.
One last question. Who's got it?
One last question. If you got none, we're just gonna wrap it up. You got no Q's. You got no A's.
Alright then.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. We have an autograph session right after this downstairs. And then we have a,
You've got
do's and
getting,
don'ts.
Yeah, getting into anime do's and don'ts.
what time is that? 3?
One.
No,
One.
one,
One.
yeah.
1 o'clock. And it'll be in this room again.
Yeah, closing ceremonies is 3.
Oh,
Yes.
well,
So thank
yes,
you all.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.